set. The meeting will come to order. Before we start today's agenda, I would like to have the Pledge of Allegiance led by Lieutenant Randall.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. The following matters will come before the License Commission today at our regularly scheduled meeting. The meeting has been previously filed with the city clerk. The way the agenda will work is initially we'll take applications submitted for consideration. Item number 1, Blessed Mother of the Morning Star Parish at St. Mary's Church, 670 Washington Avenue. Ralph DeChico is the event manager. This is an application for a one-day malt wine, common victular, and entertainment license. The license is to be exercised at St. Mary's Church, 670 Washington Avenue, on Saturday, March 18th, excuse me, from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. for a St. Patrick's Day dinner dance for parishioners. The expected attendance is 80. Is there someone here from the Blessed Mother of the Morning Star Parish at St. Mary's? Would you step up to the microphone, please, sir, and your name and address for the record? And if you, would you turn on the mic, please, sir? Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Anthony Carboni. I live at 31 Reynolds Avenue in Everett, Mass. I've been a parishioner of St. Mary's of the Assumption Church for the last 15 years since we merged. I'm representing Ralph DeChico, who couldn't make it here today. And we're having a dinner dance on March 18th. Be about 80 people. Then we're here for our license.
Okay. Do any of my fellow commissioners have any questions?
I have no questions. I looked at the application, and it seems like the same dinner pie that you have every year, so
Yes,
I
it
have
is.
no questions.
Same, I have no questions.
Very good. Thank you very much, sir. We'll close this part of the hearing. We'll open the hearing up to any proponents. Is there anybody else that would like to speak on behalf of the Blessed Mother of the Morning Star Parish at St. Mary's Church? I don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. Is there anybody opposed? Is there anybody opposed to the St. Patrick's Day dinner at St. Mary's? Don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. I will open it up to a general discussion or entertain a motion.
Since there are no questions, I'll make a motion to approve.
And I'd second that motion.
Very good. I will make it unanimous. The application for a one-day malt wine, common victular, and entertainment license to be exercised at St. Mary's Church at 670 Washington Avenue on Saturday, March 18th from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. for a St. Patrick's Day dinner dance is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're
We
welcome.
appreciate it. Good luck with the event. Item number 2, Lupita Revere LLC, DBA Lupita Restaurant, 111 Shirley Avenue. Erasimo Guevara is the manager. This is an application to amend the entertainment license. The application to amend the entertainment license to add DJ karaoke and dancing by patrons. The current license includes widescreen cable TV, radio, jukebox, and voice and instrument music. Your name and address for the record, please, sir.
Hi, I'm Erasmo Guevara. I'm the manager of the Lupita Rivera LLC.
Very good. Can you tell us what you'd like to do with this license?
We would like to obtain our entertainment license to for our patrons, so we can keep more entertainment.
Very good. You recently opened, correct?
We did about a month, last month, the 13th. So this Monday was our month.
Very good. Do any of my fellow commissioners have any questions?
Whereabouts is 111? I'm a little confused.
It's right next to the park on Shirley Avenue, right in the middle of the street.
It's the old Buster Bar.
It's the old Buster Bar, correct?
Oh, okay, so it's on the corner.
Yeah.
It's on the corner. Are there residential buildings there?
Well, there's one right next to it, but there's nothing on top of us, and there's like 2 houses in front of us, and then the other building in front of us is commercial. So they are there by like 9 o'clock. Then
Okay.
the building right next door is also commercial, so
Right. Are you planning on putting a dance floor in, or is there already a dance floor there?
there's no plans for, there's no planning on doing this floor. I mean, the place is big enough. I don't think we need to add more. I mean, we did from the beginning, it was planned when I talked to Deputy Chief. That was the plan from the beginning before we start the process, and Deputy Chief, so as long as you follow all the requirements that I'm gonna give you, you should have no issues with the entertainment. And we did, we actually follow every instruction that Deputy Chief actually gave us to do, and he technically, when he went back for the final inspection, he approved and he said, you're good to go with everything, that you are required to have a fully entertainment license.
Okay. I'm just concerned as to where they're gonna dance. You've got all the tables in there.
No, we're not planning on having people dancing on the tables. That's not the plan or anything like that. We would like to keep up our patrons entertained a little longer, because, right now they're just having the dinner, and after that, they just want to leave. And since we
Okay.
have the license to 2:00, it wouldn't be another issue. We're actually in contact, I'm trying to get in contact with the police department. Maybe we could have an extra detailer twice a month, or maybe if we could, every other weekend. And so we want to keep the peace. We don't want anything crazy going on,
Okay, thank you.
I think that was my primary concern. I was just trying to look up to see if I can see pictures of the restaurant itself. That, that it's not a backdoor way for you to turn this almost into a nightclub at night. It is a restaurant primarily, right? And that's your primary focus. But that was my reservation. And you said you've made attempts to reach out to the Revere Police Department, see if you can get extra detail.
We're working on that. We're working on pricing and everything.
And did you say there's residential area around it, or, because it's Shirley Avenue? So
It's, the big building right next to it has the business in the bottom, has the residential top. We are right next to it, and then the building across the street is commercial, so they are there by 9. And then you have, I think, 2 Revere housings right across the street. And then the building is technically fully renewed, fully insulated, and everything.
Okay, well, that satisfies my inquiry.
So, right now, you're a restaurant exclusively, and what type of food do you serve there?
Mexican food.
And what are your hours like? What's your kitchen open?
Right now, we open the kitchen to 11 o'clock at night.
I'm sorry?
11 o'clock at night.
Do you plan on expanding that, or are you gonna keep it the same?
No, we're planning on spending it. If we have the full entertainment floor, we're gonna go till midnight.
Okay. All right, well, I don't have any further questions. We'll close this section of the hearing. Thank you very much, sir. Are there any proponents? Is there anybody else that would like to speak on behalf of Lupita Restaurant? I don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. Are there any opponents? Is there anybody opposed to the issuance of the expanded entertainment license? I don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. I will open it up to a general discussion and/or entertain a motion.
You guys
I
have
would just,
the bakery next door?
Yes.
Okay, that's why I'm just trying to figure out which location.
I just wanted to ask Lieutenant Randall if he's heard anything from this restaurant as far as extra detail.
I could have to check with the detail office. I haven't heard anything, any requests.
You
But
haven't?
if he wants to see me after the meeting, I can put him in touch with Luigi still.
I talked to a couple officers that come by and they told me to get in contact. I forgot what was the name of the guy actually, because I think it's not the lieutenant or anything, there's somebody,
You'd
there's somebody
contact-
different on
yeah,
charge
yeah,
of that.
You could just, if you call the main number
Yeah.
and ask for the detail office, they'll put you through.
Yeah, but the guy who I talked to, I forget his actually last name, but starts with an F. The officer that I talked to, he told me prices ranges between $450 and up, so.
Well, Lieutenant Randall can help you at any time as far as
If I can
the
take his
license.
car,
for-
if you have a car on you, I'll be more than happy to reach out to you once we get out of here.
Absolutely.
It'll be my pleasure, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Now, you folks have had an entertainment license since you've opened, right?
Yeah.
And I see you've had instrumental music as part of your...
As of right now, we only been using the TVs and the radio.
Okay,
Yeah, we haven't brought no other instrumental in or anything like that.
okay. Lieutenant Randall, you're not aware of any complaints regarding noise in the area or anything?
Haven't seen, nothing's come across my desk yet, no.
Very good, thank you very much. Well, I will entertain a motion if anybody wants to make one.
I'd move to approve the application to amend the entertainment license at Lupita Restaurant.
Very good, I'll second that motion. The application to amend the entertainment license to Lupita Revere LLC DBA Lupita Restaurant for a expanded entertainment license to add DJ karaoke dance by patrons is approved. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
sir. Good luck with the,
Thank you.
with your business. Item number 3. Los Compadres Oaxaqueños LLC, DBA B&M Grill, 843 Broadway. Christian Mancia is the manager. This is an application for a change of category to all alcohol from a malt and wine license. The change of category is to be exercised at the restaurant at 843 Broadway, and the alcohol service is to remain Sunday through Saturday, 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. Is there someone here on behalf of B&M Grill?
Yes, Commissioner. Richard Mestone, on behalf of Los Compadres.
Very good.
I also have the 2 owners and the manager here as well. And I must apologize to the board of the commission. I misread the regulations and thought I had to bring the affidavit of service with me instead of having it provided prior to. So if I could provide that with you, I've got my affidavit and all of the return cards and U.S. Postal showing that all of the notices were delivered 2 weeks ago, basically.
Maggie will take them. Thank you very much. Can you tell us briefly, Counselor, what your plans are for what your client's plans are for this change in license category to all alcohol?
Well, this restaurant has been there for quite some time, and my clients had taken it over in September of 2020. They've currently hold a malt and wine beverage license, which they've had for a little over a year, if my memory is correct. What they plan on doing, because multiple customers over a considerable period of time have been asking, how come we don't have alcohol with our food and stuff like that? So basically, the place is a family restaurant, single level. They have a seating capacity of 50, even though the document says that they can hold up to 55, but they have a seating capacity of 50. It consists of I wouldn't say a bar for liquor purposes, but it's a bar where they have stools you can sit at, booths and tables. It's a family restaurant. It's open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They're open from 7 in the morning to 10 at night, except on Mondays when they close. They serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner, as I said. What they're looking to do at this point is that they're looking to serve alcohol in-house only. There's no alcohol allowed to be brought in. People can only get alcohol when they order a meal. They can't just come in and order a drink. Aside from ordering, if they don't order food, they can't have alcohol. They're looking to have the current time that they serve right now, the beer and wine is from 12 o'clock to 10 o'clock. What they're looking to do is have an all alcohol from 10 o'clock to 10 o'clock. The reason for earlier than 12 is because during breakfast or brunch, there is alcoholic drinks such as Bloody Marys and mimosas and another Spanish drink, which I won't even attempt to pronounce, that has alcohol in it. So that would be the reason for that. The servers, there was a server that was there, which was their daughter, and I believe they picked up another one, at least another one, who have gone to the school to certify them in alcoholic services, so they were all certified servers of alcoholic beverages. When customers come in, it doesn't matter who they are. They check all IDs, no matter what you look like, no matter how old you are or whatever. They check all IDs across the board. As of today, to my knowledge, the company is current with all taxes at the Department of Revenue. We've submitted a certificate for that. We're current with all unemployment taxes, which I believe we submitted a certificate for that as well. We're current with insurance. They're current on all of those things. not aware of any, and I haven't been made aware of any incidents that have occurred since they've had this place in 2020. As I said, no drinks would be allowed to leave the premises. It's all on-site consumption. Barring any questions, hopefully I've covered, oh, by the way, Christian Mancia is the manager of the operation. Manuel Hernandez is the owner with his wife Bianca Hernandez as well. Their daughter is one of the servers, and they operate the restaurant together, and I believe they picked up another server as well, who is also certified and has the credentials to serve alcoholic beverages.
Very good. Well, thank you very much, Council. We appreciate the information. Do any of my fellow commissioners have any questions?
Well, I know where the restaurant is, and I haven't gone in there, but I will tell you, the calls I've gotten this week about the restaurant, it must be wonderful, because usually we have people that, you know, have a problem with the restaurant. And I would have to say at least 8 families in the area has called me saying what a wonderful business they run. So I haven't been there. I will, after listening to everyone, stop in. But I have no questions. Everybody has answered my questions this week, and they all seem to be very happy with them. No complaints. They do close early. And a 10 o'clock license, although there's only one house that abuts. The rest of it is all commercial, you know, so, and they do close, like I say, at 10 o'clock. So I just want to say, your neighbors have all been calling. So keep up the good work.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Ochino.
Same, and I share my fellow commissioners' sentiments about your restaurant, especially to the family. I've heard nothing but good things about it. I've gotten a couple emails as well in support of this application to change the classification. And I certainly commend. I remember when this, in 2020, when this license first came before us, and there was one opposition. We haven't heard much from that neighbor since you guys took over. So, like I said, I think you guys are doing a great job, and I have no reservations about this whatsoever.
I think they're very happy with it. Unfortunately, the neighbor passed away.
Oh, okay.
But her husband is there, and he has no problems with it now. I mean, they've proven themselves to be good neighbors,
Yeah.
as far as I know. Right. Well, you can understand when, you know, you're in a home and next door, a business is coming in with alcohol, so I did understand how we felt. But obviously, like you said, you're a good neighbor to him, and I'm very happy about that.
Well, it's nice to hear that, for a change.
Yes. All right, very good. We'll close this part of the hearing. Is there any proponents or anybody else that would like to speak on behalf of the change of license category for B&M Grow? We don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. Is there anybody opposed? Is there anybody opposed to the license change? Yes, sir. Your name and address for the record, please.
Richard M. McBain, 14 Bolton Street.
Yes, step right up to the microphone, please, sir.
It'll get 10 to 10, is the license, right? That's what they're going for.
Yes.
Yes.
You can handle 50 people.
That's
Where
how
are the
many
cars
people
gonna
can sit in
be?
the place
We got
at
a
one
horror
time.
show as it is, we've had it for years. There's 5 businesses, 2 apartments on that corner, and those two buildings. And we have a horror show.
As far as,
Parking. Where are they gonna park? With 50 people, they're not coming in, you know.
well, yes, I understand what you're
I
saying.
know it's for the liquor, I have no problem with that, that's something altogether different. My major thing is with the parking. It's a horror show, it's been a horror show for years. And it's not getting any better.
No, I would agree with you there. What would you see as a resident from the area? What do you think could be done to alleviate some of the parking?
They've tried everything. People come and go, that corner itself has been a horror show for years, it's gone from a little little store, ambulance service, dog services. It's been a multitude of different things. Restaurant, it's been a variety store again, and it's reopened.
Now.
I haven't been in
correct me
there,
if
so
I'm
I don't
wrong,
know.
On the opposite corner there's a auto repair place.
That's the old service bus line. There's 2 businesses in there too. So that puts 5 businesses on that corner with 2 apartments. There's no
But
parking there.
Richard, can you, have you had any problems with this particular business, the restaurant that is there? Obviously, you know I'm very familiar with the area.
I'm the second house on the street, so.
Huh?
I'm the second house on Folsom Street.
Right, I understand that. But I'm saying, from this restaurant, have you had any
No.
problems from them? See, the problem with commercial property, they don't need to have parking. And I sympathize with you. I used to live next to, near Billy T's, and the traffic is just, horrendous. But when it's commercial property, they don't need to have parking. Unfortunately, that's the law.
Oh,
But,
I've
you
heard
know,
that
I
many
mean,
times over.
I'm just wondering if they could look into, I know when we had, what was that restaurant, right on, the very small restaurant on Broadway, they had, at
Sebastian's.
night, yes, they used to be allowed to park in the Sons of Italy parking lot.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if maybe these people, and we can't tell them to do that, but where Durant Paint is right across the street? Maybe they could work something out with them for parking. But your problem, I have to tell you, your problem on Folsom Street are those 2 businesses that are there. Trucks. Many, many times the police have been called, they tag them, they're right back. And I think that's where the problem lies. I think that maybe we have to go for who licenses those body shops and who licenses that, I think is a paint shop now, or detail shop. I think that's where the problem's lying. I see the trucks, I go down there quite often, and I think this is not the place that can clear those 2 up because we don't license them, okay? So I think you should continue, Richard, and you should get in touch with the proper authority, start with the police department, tagging every day. They've got to just keep tagging to keep them off the streets. They don't even pull into the garage. They stay right on the sidewalk. I think it's terrible, and I'm in total agreement with you. That street is a tough street for the
that's
businesses.
my only concern, is the
Right.
parking.
Well, I think, and they've been there now for, is it 2 years, did we say? And they close at 10. I will tell you, the traffic after 10 o'clock is unbelievable. They're closed, So, Richard, Mr. McBain, I would certainly look into other departments and have them help you out with that problem, because they shouldn't be allowed to do that. I mean, they're double parking, as you know. So, but to blame this business where they don't need parking,
I'm not blaming the business.
Right.
All I'm saying is the general thing of parking.
right,
And then they throw a snow emergency, and everybody from Broadway down on Folsom, Carlton Street. They gotta get off Broadway.
I think that maybe because of the problem that is there, I know, and I shouldn't be saying this, I'm not a counselor, but that, I would have to say Folsom Street is one street that I would say should have resident parking because of all the businesses, and the businesses are right on Folsom Street. So I would look into that. I would call, the council, see if they can help you out getting resident parking, because it is a problem. You're absolutely right.
We've all got residents, the residence tickets for the cars and all this stuff. But,
And they're
it's-
still there.
And not until after 6 o'clock at night, and that's when that comes into effect or something like that.
Yeah. I feel very bad. I honestly know what you're going through. It's terrible, and I don't know what the answer is.
I've been there since 1970, and
I know.
it's downhill.
And of course, everybody has cars now. Years ago, people had one car if they were lucky.
If they
Now
were lucky.
they've got 3, 4, 5 cars to every house. It's tough.
Yeah, my grandson just got a car, so there's one more in my
See?
household with a car.
That's what, I used to at
I
one
know where you're
time.
coming from.
I had 5 at one time, so, you know, it is all of us, but I sympathize with your problem, but I think there are other authorities that you can try to get on board to help you.
Okay, that's all I have. That was my only
Thank you
thing.
very much, sir. I think the commissioner has basically outlined, you know, really what the situation is. It's a little bit bigger than these folks and their alcohol license, you know, so I sympathize with you, and you do have some remedies. Hopefully it can get worked out eventually. Thank you.
We've been saying that for a while.
It's
Thank you.
ni-
Have a good
It's
day.
nice seeing you.
Do you have any, I don't. Okay, very good. We'll close this section. We'll open it up to a general discussion and/or entertain a motion.
Well, if there's no other discussions, I think I've said what I have to say. I would make a motion to approve.
I'd second that motion.
Very good. The application for a change of license category to all alcohol from malt and wine for the B&M Grill is approved. The application is approved for alcohol service hours to remain Sunday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Well, I see this, what is this?
Yes, I know it says 12 a.m., but I think they asked for 10 a.m. to 10
So it would be
10.
10 to 10.
So we'll approve it for that, unless you have an objection?
No, I have no objections.
An
None.
objection? Very good, the alcohol license is approved. Thank you very much. Item number 4, Revere Minuteman Wings, LLC. DBA Wingstop, 5 Everett Street, Unit B. Mark Justice is the LLC manager. This is an application for a common victuals license. The license is to be exercised at 5 Everett Street, Unit B in Revere. The requested hours are Sunday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. and the requested seating is 10.
Yes, sir.
Name and address for the record, please.
Yes, sir. My first name is Papa, last name is Sumari. My address is 36 Olympia Avenue in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. I am extremely grateful to be standing here before you. I would like to thank you for your service to the community and representation. We would like to have the opportunity to open up a Wingstop right on Bell Circle so that we can not only be socially responsible, but at the same time grow our business. We have other locations. We have a location in Border Street in East Boston already. There's a location in Medford that we operate, and we have a couple of locations in Connecticut at the same time. It's just a very simple concept. We have a seating of 10, providing dinner solutions and lunch solutions, providing jobs, paying taxis, and at the same time try to grow the business. There's no alcohol to be served. The hours of operations are safe. There's plenty of parking for everyone. Very simple concept, quite frankly.
Very good. Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, sir.
Do any of my fellow commissioners have any questions?
I have no questions. I've gone through the application, and in the application, he answered all my questions.
Thank you.
Same. I don't have any questions. But I will one. When do you anticipate opening?
So believe it or not,
When is it slated to be open?
correct. There was a shortage of electric panels nationwide, and that held us behind really for a while, and it was very difficult for us to have. But luckily, we have the electric panel. We would like to open as early as possible, pending your approval. Whenever you allow us to open, that's when we intend to open. We're here just to comply.
I really like the lemon pepper wings.
My favorite flavor is mango habanero, but lemon
The
pepper is
habanero too.
delicious.
Yeah, the habanero is my favorite too. I have no additional questions.
Thank you.
Very good. We'll close this section of the hearing. Is there anybody any proponents? Anybody want to speak on behalf of Wingstop? We don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. Is there anybody opposed? Is there anybody opposed to the Wingstop opening at Bell Circle? Don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. We'd open it up to a general discussion or entertain a motion.
I have no questions. If there's no questions, I think it's a great spot, plenty of parking. So I would make a motion to approve.
I'd second that motion.
Very good. The application for a common victualer's license for Wingstop is approved. The application will be exercised at 5 Everett Street, Unit B, Revere. The requested hours are Sunday, through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. The requested seating is for 10. And that license is approved. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Very good.
Thank
Good
you.
luck with your business.
Thank you so much.
That concludes the applications for consideration. The next items on the agenda are hearings. Item number 5, Sadhguru Hotel LLC, DBA Quality Inn, 100 Morris Street. Beth Shearer is the manager. This is a continuation of a hearing from last month regarding the status of building codes and safety. Name and address for the record, please.
Sure, it's Beth Shearer, 495 Westgate Drive in Brockton, Massachusetts.
Thank you very much, Ms. Shearer. We appreciate you coming here today. Can you tell us what progress you've made and where we are in the ongoing saga of quality?
We've made lots of progress. I sent a packet of information over late yesterday afternoon. I'm not sure if you had a chance to review it. But basically, there's nothing left to do except have the electrical inspector back out. He came yesterday to inspect one thing and then told us the wiring wasn't up to code on something that had been seen several times, so today we replaced all that wiring. And that is the last thing on the list of things. We were waiting for the mold remediation report to come in. I just got a text message a few minutes ago that came back as negative, so I'll share that information with, I think, is it Maggie? Yeah, so I can send that email to her. I don't have it with me at the moment. But otherwise, I think you'll see that, we pulled licenses for things we didn't know we needed to pull them for. I spoke with the city councilor last night. We had a very nice conversation. I really think we're in a good position. We understand that the electrical inspector needs to come back one last time, but hopefully that doesn't hold us up from our license being reissued maybe with some contingencies.
Very good. Yes, we've received a lot of correspondence from the various departments in the city that you guys have been cooperative and have been moving the process along. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Do any of my fellow commissioners have any questions?
No, I have no questions. I went over, I did receive a letter from the counselor, and he felt everything was going well.
Good.
So, no, I have no questions.
Excellent. Thank you.
Same, I reviewed the letter by Councilor Serino, and I do recall what we discussed at our last hearing and meeting. So I think all my questions are answered at this point.
Okay.
Very good. We'll close this part of the hearing and we'll open it up. Are there any proponents? Anybody would like to speak on behalf of the issuance of this license? I will go on record as saying that there is a letter on file from Councilor Richard Serino, which I'll paraphrase. He would ask that we approve this application for license renewal pending the final sign-offs of Inspectional Services Department and/or fire. So that is basically his position, which is, always helpful.
Yes.
So, hearing no other proponents, we'll close that section. Are there any opponents? Is there anybody opposed to the issuance of this license? I don't see or hear anybody. We will close that section. I'll open it up to a general discussion and/or a motion.
Well, I have no questions. I mean, I would make a motion to approve the license contingent on receiving the letter from the fire department that everything is up to date.
Okay.
I would second that motion along with the condition.
And I would also concur. So at this point, the license will be issued pending the approval of the remaining sign-offs.
Okay.
And once you receive those sign-offs, and Maggie receives them, she'll give you your license and you're good to go.
All right, thank you. We appreciate all the time that you spent with us on this, and we're looking forward to getting open.
Yes, we.
So the
we're
season
looking
is
forward
upon
to it
us,
as
so
well.
it's a good time. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a
Thanks a
great
lot,
day.
Steve.
Thank you.
The license for Quality Inn is approved.
Can I take a quick break to use the restroom?
Yes. We need to take a brief recess. for-
3 minutes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, it was down there this morning. Yeah, they're off, the Juanita's there. I keep tabs on Aqua through Mo. That's what he tells me. I can't see how you could do otherwise. I mean, I know how it is when my kids have an assay, I feel for them, I can imagine. Never mind if it was something that was life-threatening, it was really just, to build we'll come back to order. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. The next item on the agenda, item number 6, Kenneth G. LaFosse, DBA Brothers Auto Body, 16 Naples Road. Kenneth G. LaFosse is the manager. This is a status hearing for conditions of the license approval. Your name and address for the record, please, sir.
Good afternoon, Edward Lonigan, Nahat, Massachusetts, appearing on behalf of Mr. LaFosse. And following our meeting in November, one of the suggestions made by one of the members of the commission was that we make a payment to the city regarding an outstanding real estate tax for the year 2021, which we did. And I have submitted to you today the account from the city as of January 30th of this year, showing an outstanding balance now of $31,000 in fees. We also have before you a copy of the complaint that we have filed initially in the Superior Court. It was removed to the United States District Court. It's been remanded by agreement back to the Superior Court, in which we're challenging those fines of $31,000. I want to point out that the $31,000, the city is 100% protected. There's a lien on the property. It's a relatively small amount from the city's point of view, but it's quite a substantial amount from Mr. LaFosse's point of view. For the past 6 years that he's gone through these ordeals, in addition to spending $60,000 for a fire alarm system that he didn't need, he has obviously been denied the opportunity to work several times. He's a small businessman on a small street in a small building, and he has been, and I think it's fair to say that based on what we've seen, he's being prosecuted, he's being persecuted, not prosecuted. There's no reason for this level of intensity to regarding this matter. It's a simple, do we owe it or we don't? We said we don't. Let's try it. It's a 2-day trial at the most, a little bit of discovery, but instead, we have this gentleman. He's been in the Superior Court, he's been in the District Court, he's been in the Land Court, and he's been here 3 times in the past 6 months. And it's a terrible ordeal, and there's no purpose being served. We have not had a single settlement discussion. We've tried. There's no one will discuss settlement, which is unheard of because of the amount. This is a relatively small amount from the city's point of view, and we have 3 different city attorneys we're working with, 4 different attorneys from the outside counsel. And it's an amount of attention that I can't understand. And I've been practicing law a reasonable period of time. So, but we have, I think, complied with your dictate, which is we are seeking in good faith to abate these charges. And I will say that we consider our claims to be quite substantial and likely to be successful. But we need time, obviously, to file that, and I would condition our continued issuance of the license to be on that we continue in good faith to pursue that, which we've done and we will do. Thank you.
Do you have any questions for the council?
Not at the moment.
Any questions for the council?
No, I don't have any.
Thank you very much, Counselor. Attorney Bronco? Thank you very much, sir. Can you just explain from the city's point of view where we are with this and what's going on with the 31,000 or any other fees, fines, and taxes that you're aware of?
Sure. So my name is Attorney Anthony Bronco. I'm from D'Ambrosio LLP.
Come a little closer to the mic, sorry.
Sure.
Thank you.
So I'm from D'Ambrosio LLP, and I represent the City of Revere with respect to just the textile litigation as outside counsel. Okay. So I was asked here just to clarify a little bit about the textile situation, as the statute is a little bit complicated. The place I think I would start really is the board's letter I'm in receipt of from January 27th, which asks, for 2 things really. Number 1, deal with all the outstanding municipal delinquencies, and number 2, provide proof from the collector's office. So I have with me a municipal lien certificate, which would be a certificate from the collector's office showing all outstanding delinquencies, and I have that here for the licensing commission. They can take a look at it.
I'd like to see that.
Yep.
Counselor, have you received a copy of this?
Municipal lien certificate? No.
No, so I just was able to grab this from the collector's
Okay,
office
very
just, but I believe that they did request other billing statements around 1 o'clock today, and so I passed it along from the collector's office this afternoon.
Thank you very much, Counselor.
At least,
So here's the email.
thank you.
So, I mean, at this point, you know, obviously we'll speak a little bit more, but my position would be that it's fairly open and shut. You asked for something to be done, and, you know, unfortunately, it wasn't finished, right? I understand that, you know, the other side, they have the argument, I think, that, hey, we're trying in good faith, we did make a payment, we're trying to essentially litigate this, and so, because their position essentially is that because they're trying to litigate and because they dispute what's on the tax bill, they're exempt from the obligation to pay, and that's simply not the case, okay? So, for example, I believe that they submitted a check for somewhere over $3,000, right? And I believe that they tried to have that, you know, applied to fiscal year 2021 real estate taxes. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. So all this is governed by Mass General Laws, Chapter 60, and the relevant section is going to be 3E. Okay, that essentially states how partial payments, any payment shorter than full, must be applied. And so this case, that amount was not applied to fiscal year 2021. It was applied to the interest, which is exactly what the statute says. Okay? Which, I mean, even if it could be applied to the interest, ultimately it doesn't comply with what the licensing commission asked in its letter anyways. The second piece with respect to the appeal, so they referenced a complaint that was filed in Superior Court. I think the city, I'm not representing the city on that particular matter, but I'm generally aware of it. I believe what they did was they filed to have it moved to federal court. Now it's been moved back to Superior Court. Honestly, my position here is that that's neither here nor there, because it is only the land court that has jurisdiction to hear tax title matters. Pursuant to Chapter 60, Section 64, they have exclusive jurisdiction, okay? As such, this whole matter, as it's a tax title matter, is governed by Chapter 60, okay? So the delinquency, this $31,000, essentially stems from code enforcement tickets which were issued against the property, okay? Those tickets, a portion of those, the city's position is that they were not appealed properly and that they went on to the quarter 3 and quarter 4 tax bills. Ultimately, they weren't paid on the tax bill, and so the city did exactly what it does for every other property where that happens, where a real estate tax or a water sewer lien is not paid. So it advertised in the newspaper and it sent a demand to the property owner's record mailing address, okay? Once it wasn't paid there, it filed a tax lien. It filed an instrument of taking at the Registry of Deeds. This is in August of 21. The city then has 6 months, it then has to wait 6 months before it can file a foreclosure action in land court. The city waited until December of 2022 to file that action. So it went above and beyond the amount of time that it had to wait, you know, in efforts to see if this could get resolved. Ultimately, it wasn't and was not paid. And so that's where the matter is at this point. It's in land court. I mean, my position is this. So essentially, the other side, they're asking, they're kind of stating that that this amount should be stayed, right? Because they've appealed it. That's not how it works in land court, okay? There's 2 sections in land court in Chapter 60 that states that 16% interest accrues on all delinquent fees, right, for these tax title amounts. It's beyond me to try to put it together that the legislature would actually want, that they would say, hey, look, okay, fine, you've decided to challenge this amount, but we're going to keep charging you interest on it. It's simply not how it works. So the city's position at this point would be that ultimately, you know, the ultimatum that was given in August was not complied with, and that there's really no mitigating factors to excuse that, and that there's still an obligation to pay this tax.
I have a question. So, let's say for the sake of argument, that it is determined through Mr. LaFauci's litigation that he does not owe this money. Would he then be credited whatever he's paid on the account, or will it go towards the current tax obligations that he has if he's absolved from this, the fees that was determined that he owed through tax title?
Right, so you're essentially saying, hey, what if a land court judge looks at this and says, hey, substantively, you know, this 24.5, that was the principal amount on the code tickets. You know, the land court says, hey, look, the sanitary code didn't apply, or they were owed a hearing, or kind of whatever that is, right? Well, that would be an order from the land court, okay, and the city would have to comply with that.
It wouldn't come from the jurisdiction that the case is currently pending in?
I don't believe so. I mean, their claims there are essentially, number one, that the tickets were improperly, that they were properly appealed and they should have been heard, and two, that the sanitary code doesn't apply, and I think three, that this is part of a targeted effort to target Mr. LaFosse, which of course the city denies, right?
Right.
So my position is that because this is in land court, because there's no longer tickets, those tickets have been closed, they've become liens on the property in the same mechanism that would move an unpaid water sewer bill to become a lien on the property, right? And so now it's exclusive jurisdiction of land court, is my position at least.
Right, so.
Right.
Okay, so, so there isn't an order that can come out of this, it's in federal court, right?
No, it's been remanded to Superior Court.
It's been
Remanded
remanded to
on
Superior Court.
Monday,
Okay, so
yeah.
it was initially filed in federal court, but it was remanded to Superior Court.
No, we can file in the Superior Court, we moved to the federal court, and remanded to the Superior Court.
Back, so now it's
Yeah.
back to Superior Court. So is it your position that, so there isn't an order that can come out of Superior Court that can govern what land court does?
I don't think so, no, because tax title, so, I mean, if you look at Chapter 60,
Right.
Section 62, land court has exclusive jurisdiction over all tax title matters. So I don't see how a federal court or superior court, anyone could say, hey, look, you know, you have to take this off the tax bill.
Okay, so I have a question for you in a second. Okay, and my next question is, what efforts has the city engaged in to try to resolve this with
So-
Mr. LaFosse?
I can essentially represent that, so there were a number of tickets which were correctly appealed, at least the city's position is that, right? Which were, you know, heard before a municipal hearing officer. COVID happens, they eventually were before Chelsea District Court. It's roughly $10,000 there or so, right? The city dismissed that before the Chelsea District Court even issued a decision. So it didn't even wait for, my position is that we would have been correct, and, you know, Chelsea Court should have upheld it, right? But in good faith, the city dismissed that amount. Okay.
So the city already,
Has already given a little bit there. Now, that's the amount that's not on the tax bill, right? The amount that's on the tax bill, city's position has no jurisdiction to touch.
the amount on the tax bill, they have no jurisdiction to touch, and that's the
That's the 24.5 principle, yes.
24/5 principle.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not really something that can be negotiated.
I don't think so, no. I mean, again, almost $10,000 was dismissed, right? And that was amounts that wasn't yet on the tax bill. It was essentially on lien, but not added because it was still being litigated in Chelsea Court.
So as it stands now, we have outstanding real estate taxes as well, because the money that he paid for the real estate taxes actually didn't go to real estate taxes. He went to pay the accrued.
I believe so. I believe that the payment on 130 went, but I think that he's paid up through Q3 on fiscal year '23. I think it's just the back years of real estate tax that are certified into the tax title account. I believe, based on looking at the report.
Right, it seems like he's paid up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it's
So-
paid up.
So that, the 35, the 3,500, the intent behind that payment, and again, they'll speak to their intent, but it's our understanding that it was intended to apply towards the 2021 real estate tax obligation.
Right.
That's still showing outstanding.
Right, I mean, so even if that was the intent, ultimately, let's say that they went through and said, we're gonna pay off every single piece of the real estate, right?
Right.
And we're left with the principal plus the interest plus whatever the recording fee is, right, to put it into the registry of deeds. That's still an outstanding amount, and the city's position is that is now, it's a real estate tax, it's on the tax bill.
Very good. So it's basically the city's position and your position that they have not complied with the terms that we set forth when we granted the license initially.
That's correct.
Very good.
And, yeah,
Counsel, do you have any other questions, Daniel?
for,
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Counsel Blanco.
so you heard the representation from the city's representative.
Yes.
Is there any reason why, or I guess do you dispute that land court has exclusive jurisdiction over this matter? 'Cause
I don't dispute that the land court has jurisdiction of the tax title. And in fact, one of two things will happen as we proceed through the litigation. Either we will ask that those proceedings be stayed, and the land court could make a decision one way or the other, or we would ask that the matters be consolidated, because it's the same parties and it's the same issues. And that's all part of the litigation process.
But there's nothing in land court at the moment.
No, they filed a petition to foreclose. Yes.
To which you'll eventually answer, I assume.
Yes, and but so much time and energy is being spent with 3 different solicitors, 4 different counsel, cases here, cases here. It's simple. We either have it right or we don't, and that's what the court's for. And we have 2 cases pending. They can either be consolidated or one could be stayed, and the issue can be framed, the issues are framed, and we can litigate it. And we are pursuing that in good faith. And all we're asking is the opportunity. The city there's no public purpose being served to penalize Mr. LaFosse more than he's been to date. What's the public purpose that's being served? To penalize him, to beat
The public
upon
is
him.
being protected.
What's that?
The public is being protected.
The public is protected. What's the
I would
issue?
beg to differ.
Okay. Well, Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry, but you have made it clear that you have an attitude that's very difficult for me to comprehend, because I've gone through every piece of information, every video. There's nothing to explain your animosity.
I don't have animosity. My position here is pretty clear. You have a responsibility when you're a car salesperson to be honest and be upfront.
Now, that's not what's before you, but now we're talking about the law.
I understand
Well-
that, but we are also talking about whether or not someone is making proper representations. And you've come here many times making representations about what you're going to do and how we're gonna resolve this, and we always come back to the same thing. We need more time, we have it under
Are
appeal.
you questioning my representations?
I'm questioning the representations made before this body that I have seen myself.
Since August of last year.
Since this thing has been before us, which has been for quite a while, it's been years, dating back to.
And it's been dated back
to the felony convictions, dating back to some of the other issues that we've had regarding the parking, regarding the business operation, regarding VIN numbers, regarding unpaid taxes, regarding 40U violations. It has been one thing after
There
another.
were no 40U violations.
Well, the record would indicate otherwise.
And the record has now been shown that the information that was submitted to you by the fire department was false. And it was proven by your records, your email back in 2016. And you have become a dupe and a tool of those who are trying to penalize him. There
All
were
I
no
can-
40U violations.
Well,
ever.
what I can tell you, sir, is that there are plenty of 40U penalties listed on this sheet.
And they're gone. Every single one's gone. The only ones remaining are supposedly late fees because they were not timely filed.
So there are fees outstanding from 40U.
And we are challenging them.
Okay, fine.
So why haven't you removed why haven't you moved your suit to land court and consolidate the matter in land court?
That case doesn't go into land court in the beginning. They brought this case, we were in the district court. We showed that we were going to win. So they threw away $12,000. They didn't settle a case. We caught them in a lie. So they then said, okay, we're gonna dismiss $12,000, but we're gonna hold you to the late files. And you can't do anything about it, so we had to go to the Superior Court. That's why we're in the Superior Court, raising everything. While we went to the Superior Court, then they filed in the land court for foreclosure. So now it's our burden to say, okay, we have 2 cases now. Do we consolidate? Do we stay? That's what we're in the process of trying to focus on. But no matter what we do, there's always something else that comes up. And it's baffling. It's not justified, not wise. And there has been no settlement discussions, none.
My last question is, and maybe your client can answer, but Mr. LaFasi operates Brothers Auto Body, all right? So is it fair to say that the primary nature of his business is the auto body shop?
Yes.
Okay. And if my memory serves me correctly, I remember at one point, he stated before this body, through you or with his own words, that the sale of auto cars is a small portion of his business, where he only sells about 1 or 2 cars. I think he said a year. I might have said a month, but I think I heard a year.
I sell about 40 to 50 cars a year.
Step up to the microphone, please,
Yeah,
sir.
and state your name and your address.
Kenneth Profossi, 44 Timber Lane, Topsfield. I sell between 40 and 60 cars a year.
A year.
A year.
That's what I'm- So this is a major part of your business.
Yes, it is.
So we're looking, we are doing we are actively pursuing resolution. And if we're wrong, the city will be fully compensated. There's no risk, there's no downside to being reasonable, none. Absolutely none. But there is a downside to further penalizing him in the interim. And that's not right, it's not necessary.
I have a question for Attorney.
Attorney Bronco, could you address the city is lying part of this?
Sure. I'm not going to go through every single piece, because I think there's some pieces that were addressed in my initial speech. In terms of the city's lying, I'm sorry, what was the allegation about the lying, about the code violations?
That you didn't drop, you dropped $12,000. You dropped $12,000 because they essentially, while in litigation, while in Chelsea District litigation, that they essentially caught the city
Right,
lying.
they proved us wrong, and we didn't want to, right.
Right.
That's not the case, no. So, those were the tickets, so it was those tickets plus a couple others that hadn't yet been appealed, that were being, it was not just, so it was at Chelsea District Court before a clerk magistrate, okay? And in essence, I had that conversation with Attorney Shapiro, and Attorney Logan may have been on that call, he may not have, I'm not sure, ahead of that, and I had said, look, I can't touch anything on the tax bill, you know, we can cut you a break on these tickets that are in Chelsea District Court, okay? And ultimately, that case was taken over by inside counsel, but in those tickets, they were dismissed as kind of an effort of good faith to say, hey, look, can't touch anything on tax title, but we can't touch these pieces, and so those tickets were dismissed. My position is that the sanitary code does apply to the property. They're kind of, I don't want to litigate this too much, but they're kind of hanging their head on the fact that it's a commercial property and the sanitary code can't apply. There were a number of cars that were unlicensed, you know, cars that were kind of sitting up on property that was below that billboard, right? That is firmly under the auspices of the state sanitary code, and so tickets could be issued for that. So my position is that the code does apply. In addition, in Chelsea Court, kind of where that arose into Superior Court was, they then stated, hey, look, there's a municipal hearing decision for this $12,000-ish, right? We want to litigate the whole thing, and our position was, well, no. There are a number of tickets that were not appealed, those cannot be litigated. The 21 days to appeal, the 16-day backdoor to appeal, those are both, you know, come and gone, and they can no longer be heard.
And that's the 49 citations that are still.
Yes, the 24-5, yes.
The 24, that amounts to 24-5.
Yes, yeah, I think it's 49.
Okay. Your brother also made a representation today that if this body issues the license for him to continue to operate, the Class 2 license to continue to operate, the city's interest is still protected because there's a lien on the property. You know, however it ends up being resolved in litigation, your interest is firm or reaffirmed in the fact that there's a lien on the property. Can you speak to that? Because you won't lose out. That's basically what he's saying. He's saying, like, you're protected. Your interest is, the city's interest is protected. Would you agree to that?
I mean, what I would say is this, there's still an outstanding amount of tax dollars which the city uses for a number of different municipal functions every single day, and that amount is still unpaid, and it's still outstanding, and it continues to be outstanding. And so this, what the city is trying to do is just collect on the amount that it's due. The city's position is that the litigation shouldn't even be necessary. It's that this amount went onto the tax bill. It was assessed. It wasn't, you know, no abatement application was submitted to the Department of Revenue or to the city assessor's office. And so it stands. It's now a matter of tax title. So the city's position is that it's essentially trying to collect the money that's due to it at this point.
Now, Counselor, if the money is due and the business pays the money, and subsequently it's found that the land court decides for whatever reason that they don't owe the money, would the city then give them back their money? How does that work?
Well, so I think that if they were to pay that amount of money, there would be no tax title case. Because so the tax title case is based on a tax lien, and if they pay the lien, what is the city gonna foreclose on, right? So there's that. I mean, I don't know that maybe if there's, I hadn't looked into whether there was a consolidated case or not. I don't know if that would get transferred over. What I can say is this, is if this land court were to give the city a directive, I think that they would probably have to comply. I'd have to take a look and see kind of what it is, how it's couched, what do they ask, but if they find that those tickets aren't validly issued, which my position is that they are, you know, I would think that they wouldn't have to pay. But again, don't hold me to that. We have to go take a look.
Well, so I see what you're saying, because then the matter would become moot. It wouldn't be in
Right.
land court, but if they respond to your petition, right, to foreclose, and also file a counterclaim, or somehow, as your brother represented, consolidate the two matters, then, as the chairman suggested, if it is later determined that they don't in fact owe this money, or they didn't owe this money, I guess it's reasonable to assume that they would be credited whatever they've paid on that, because again, their
Yes.
counterclaim could still survive if the city says, you know what, you've paid it, we have no gripe here, but they then file a counterclaim to your petition, right, that would survive.
I would think so, yeah, and I think it would be reasonable to think that. I don't want to make any representations,
Right.
you know, for litigation here, but
Right.
I think that might be reasonable. Yeah,
Thank you very much, Counselor.
thank you.
Counselor, do you have anything to add?
Council Bronco was not involved with the end of the case at the district court. The assistant city solicitor took his place, so how it was ultimately resolved, he did not play a role in. In fact, he told me to stop sending him communications regarding that case. So I think his ability to comment on that aspect of the litigation is limited. But I'd like to just refresh your memory as why we were so offended by these proceedings. The Revere Fire Department on 11/8/2016 sent you an email and said, we issued an order of notice, no fire alarm system, etc. That was it. Then December 19th, 2018, the deputy chief appeared before this commission and testified that I got a call from the Insurance Fraud Bureau about a vehicle that was being worked on the property for an unlicensed body shop in an unlicensed repair shop. Come to find out, Mr. LaFauci was renting to Juan's Auto Body in the basement of his property. Juan's Auto Body was an unlicensed repair shop. So I went there with the building inspector. And we did an inspection of the property, and we discussed the discontinuance of the operation of Juan's Auto Body. Mr. LaFauci agreed that he would extend his business into the basement and take over the entire building. So that was the justification for ordering a fire alarm. That was in 2018. Never said anything like that in 2016. And in fact, Juan's Auto Body was licensed. It is licensed. It's there today. It was fabricated. That's a euphemism for lying. And that's what the cause of our problem, because he was then pictured as violating the code. But not only did he not violate the code, he went further. He went and got Mr. Kelly, a former inspector, And said, what do I do? And Mr. Kelly said, even though you're right, they're wrong. Put the fire alarm and move on. He spent $60,000. And they still pursued him. There's something wrong there. And it offends me. It's not right. It is not necessary. As far as the litigation goes, we did not know that they were going to tax foreclosure. So even though we had filed a Superior Court action, even though we had been talking in the land court, in the district court, we didn't know that they filed the action in the land court. When we did, we would now come up with a strategy, and one of our strategies may be to go to the land court and take the whole action and put it in the land court. We don't know yet. Why? Because we're coming here, and we're getting pummeled here. I don't know what our ultimate resolution is, but I know we have a valid claim, and I'm only looking for an opportunity to vindicate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Counselor. Well, I think we have heard both sides.
I'm just wondering, how long is this before we hear this case?
Well, I'm not sure.
You don't have any dates when this case will be heard?
No. If we had counsel who wanted to sit down and say, let's take 2 depositions, do a request for production, we could do it, we could be ready for trial in 3 months, we could try it in 2 days. It could be over if people sat and wanted to get focus. Nobody wants to focus.
What's the next event on your lawsuit?
The city filing an answer that we filed originally in November. And the city's finally going to have to file an answer. The city's been avoiding filing an answer.
What about the petition for foreclosure? Have you responded to that yet?
Not yet. We're trying to determine our strategy. And one of the things, as they say, you would talk with counsel. But no one will talk. And say, what do you think? Can we do this? Can we do this? Should we do this? What do you think? Should we settle it? Should we do this? Do this? And he's not authorized to speak for the city.
Well, he raised his hand as if he had something to say. That's all. I acknowledge it.
So I just want to comment a little bit on the tax sale foreclosure proceedings. So it's not like most, lawsuits and cases, right? So essentially, the city files a petition, and it names the parties, right? Well, so the land court takes a step further and says, hey, because we're going to judicially foreclose, they have a title examiner perform a title report to find any and all interested parties. It could be a mortgage from 25 years or so that there wasn't, released, right? They would technically be an interested party, condo association, stuff like that. So the title examiner has issued its title report. The city has now requested its citations, which are essentially summons issue. Once I receive those summons, I would then provide them to mortgagees and to the property owner, or to counsel at this point, now if they answer an appearance. Right, from there they'll have, I believe,
Excuse
21
me?
days. Yep.
I don't think we can hear you with the mic. I'm sorry.
Is that,
You just pick up where you left off. Just pick up where you left off.
Yeah, that's fine. This is really just kind of for your benefit.
Yes, so the citation.
So essentially, summons would issue citations, they'd have 21 days to respond, and then the land court judge would essentially set a date for a hearing, and so if they responded, there would be a hearing involved, and so the court would make a decision or schedule a different hearing. That being said, that might take a long time. I haven't received the citations from the land court yet. I've already requested them, but I haven't received those yet, so it may take a long time for that piece as well. I don't think that, at least in the land court, it's as quick as, get a couple depositions, sit around a table and kind of knock this thing out.
Thank you very much, Councilors. Anybody else have any other questions for, I'd just like to state that, look, we've been on this board, I've been on this board for a few years. I can't recall when the state police have come here and asked us not to issue a license. And that happened in this case, where the state police came here and asked us, because of the conduct of the business and the way they were conducting it, to not issue a license. I take that very seriously. And so that's part of my reasoning and why I would be opposed to continuing this license. I think this license should cease today. That would be my opinion, and that would be my motion that I would put before my colleagues. We've heard all of the excuses, all of the reasons. If it subsequently, it comes that you guys are, don't owe this money and you prevail in court, you're more than welcome to come back and apply for a license and see if you can get a license through this body. But I would make a motion that we do not continue this license any further.
So, as a one of the newer members on this commission, I tried to afford Mr. LaFauci the opportunity, at least in my eyes, to operate, given the amount of decades that he's had his license and has operated in the city of Revere. I understand his past, and I understand the issues that has been presented to the commission. As I sit today, there's a couple of things that I want to point out on the record. One, as we know it right now, the tax debt is valid until we're told otherwise. And part of this business maintaining its license, all taxes, liens, fees, etc., needs to be paid up, and you need to be in good standing. So I have to take that in consideration. However, I also have to consider the fact that council, and regardless whether he's on the right footing with his argument or not, one thing that stands out to me in his argument is that they're going forward in good faith in litigation. There's nothing that suggests to me at this point that this is a frivolous lawsuit. Based on everything I've heard, I truly believe Mr. LaFauci truly believes he does not owe this money. And this is something that he's passionate about it. I think that his lawsuit's in good faith. And I can't ignore that. But there's a conflicting interest here for me, and I also have to give equal weight to the city. Because as it stands now, there's a valid tax title issue. Unfortunately for me, I'm just not in a position to make a decision one way or the other, so I have to abstain my vote. I can't vote. So I'll defer to Commissioner Granasso.
So you're not going to vote on this?
I have to abstain at this point. I can't decide one way or the other.
And the reason you're abstaining is?
I'm weighing equal interest, and I honestly, within myself, I just can't decide. I just can't. I'm sitting here trying to rationalize both points.
Well, again, I agree with both my colleagues. You know, this has been going on and on and on. And Mr. LaFauci is a great guy. I know that. You know, you paid your bills. But I have to say, we really are not allowed to renew licenses if you owe taxes. So I don't know if I made a substitute motion. Yes.
I appealed every one of these tickets. When I got these tickets, I appealed every single one the week after. You can talk to the girl in the office in the building department. I appealed every one.
I understand
And
that.
then COVID kicked in, and I couldn't do anything.
I understand that, and honestly, I agree with Commissioner
I
O'Shea.
don't
This is a
owe
very,
anything. I paid everything. I missed one tax bill back in 2021, which I didn't even know I missed it until the last meeting I came here. Right? And I went to try to pay, they wouldn't take my money. They wouldn't take it. And I don't know what you have against me. I've been there for over 35 years.
sir, I think I get a little offended by accusations that any department has a vendetta against you, and I prefer not
Ms.
to hear
Granasso,
that.
I've been down there, and I haven't done anything.
All right, but we're just doing our job here, and
I understand that.
if
I
they're
don't
not
have-
here to defend
I don't have
themselves.
that kind of money to put out right now. I just spent over $60,000 doing what they told me to do. I did everything they told me to do, all right? I went into his office with Luigi Sacconi. Whose office? Who's your boss? Who's your boss down here?
Excuse me, sir.
I went to
Address
Jerry's
us,
office.
please.
I went to Jerry's office, I went with Louis Ciccone. I stood there with Jerry, and he says, listen, Kenny, get everything signed off, and I'll guarantee 110% you'll have your license back, okay? I get everything signed off. I call him up, he says, Jerry, I get everything signed off. He says, well, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, what do you mean I don't talk? I was in your office with Luigi. Oh, I don't represent you, I represent the city, and he hung up on me.
Okay, so I just want to stick to this issue. I think there's a motion on the floor, and I think I'm going to make a substitute motion, if this would pass, to not renew the license at this time, but to hold the license for a minimum of 6 months, that no one can apply for it. And if you straighten it out in court, you can come and apply for it.
Mrs. Granazzo, I can't do that. I have, that's my life, okay? I have everything. So I just spent, I don't know how much on my insurances, on plates, I just got my plates back.
Well,
I've
sir,
got everything back.
I think I'm being
that
very
the-
fair. I think I'm being fair. I think if I get a second vote, that we'll hold that license for you for 6 months, go
Then
to court.
I have to turn all my plates and everything back in? I just got all my dealer plates. I
The
got
way it would
everything.
be for the next 6 months is that you don't have a license.
You would have to reapply, but we would hold the license if I can get that vote. Commissioner O'Shea, you don't seem to.
No, I'm just trying to understand the motion.
The motion would be that the license would be held in abeyance for 6 months. It would actually be similar to a suspension of the license for the 6 month period.
Give them adequate time to get to court and get this settled. Because legally, me voting on a license that owes taxes, I can't
I
do
don't
it.
owe anything, Mrs. Granasso. I don't. I tried to pay my taxes the last year. I missed 1 month, 1 quarter. I tried to pay it last month, and they wouldn't take my money.
Please.
What's the matter, Daniel?
This is very unfair and very burdensome, but I'm going to request 60 days. We will find the money and pay the money and move on. We'll still pursue our litigation wherever it may go, but we will pay it so that his license stays in effect and will stay in effect, and everybody's happy.
So are you proposing that his license be extended for 60 days and he will
Yes.
pay it in full within 60 days?
Yes.
I'll give it to you.
Well,
I mean,
look,
if we got-
I'd like to resolve the issue. If this would resolve the issue and the
Thank
city
you.
would be paid, then I would make a motion that we hold the license, we grant the license for another 60 days, allow the party to pay what's owed, and at that point, the license will be back in good standing. However, if it's not paid, we have no further discussion. I mean, I don't know
Yep.
what else there would be left to discuss. No partial payments, no, we're gonna pay it, no, it's on the way, paid.
I understand.
Come in here
I made the proposal.
with a receipt saying paid.
But I would, it shouldn't remove his opportunity to negotiate. If the city's willing to entertain it and the matter is resolved.
Oh, sure.
Resolved, and they, and as we said in our letter back in, January, that, we get the certificate that you're all set.
And I want to point out, we offered to enter into a payment agreement with the city a long time ago. They won't discuss it. They don't
No,
do it,
payment
even though
agreement
your
won't-
ordinance requires it. So we can't win.
That's,
No.
you have to talk to council about that.
Well,
But whether they can, that's above our pay grade. In
okay,
the sense
thank
that,
you. It's above mine.
Okay, so there's a motion on the floor that we extend this license for 60 days.
Yes, that's the
I'm
motion.
going to second that motion.
Very good. The
Unanimous.
motion is approved. So, sir, you have 60 days to pay the balance, at which point we'll consider this matter closed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor.
Thank you for coming in.
That concludes the hearings today. We have no communications. The next items are license renewals, a common victualler for the Good Diner LLC, 361 Broadway. Also an entertainment license for the Good Diner LLC, 361 Broadway. We also have some license renewals of Class 2 motor vehicle dealers, Metropolitan Acceptance Corp., 1605 North Shore Road, Christopher Virella of Millennium Motors, 190 American Legion Highway, Louis Teglieri Jr., DBA Lease Towing and Auto Salvage, 1089R Broadway, Aventis John Narcazian, DBA European Exotics Auto Sales, 787 North Shore Road, and Sarah Rob Narcazian, DBA Beach Motors Auto Sales, 787B North Shore Road. That concludes today's
Motion
agenda.
to approve.
Does anybody have anything else that they would like to discuss?
No, and I would second Commissioner Granosso's motion.
Thank you. Is there anything else that people would like to discuss on this?
No.
Very good. I would make a motion that we adjourn until March 15th, 2023.
Second that motion.
Very good. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.